So you pulled Kazuki Aoyama in Tribe 9, but how the heck do you use him? Don't worry, I got you. And in this video, I will go over the leader of the Trash Tribe's best builds, skills, recommended teammates, so you don't have to think about it. So without further delay, let's play ball. Kazuki Aoyama is a 3-star limited tank character who supports his allies with his deflect server, and incredibly fast break value on his secondary skill. Both of these powerful skills cannot be spammed, however, as both consume Kazuki's memory stacks, which are displayed via his personal gauge. At the start of the battle, Kazuki has 15 stacks of memory to play with, and he gains 8 stacks of memory when he uses his ultimate. Each use of his secondary skill will consume 1 stack of memory, and the deflect server consumes 4. It is for this reason that Kazuki is recommended for short encounters, as if he cannot ult frequently, he will lose access to the majority of his kit. So spell discipline and pacing yourself is critical when piloting Kazuki. So in order, let's talk about his abilities. His primary attack has 4 stages, with the last dealing incredibly high break value, but with a downside of a lengthy animation. If the full combo connects, however, he deals unparalleled break damage when it comes to primary attacks. His secondary consumes 1 stack of memory. He will dash towards the target quickly, slashing repeatedly. After the animation concludes, you can press the secondary attack button again for a follow-up attack, which is a bit slower, but will not consume a memory stack. Both hits of his secondary skill have a break value of 500 and consume very little stamina, making it a high-value skill. His strategy skill is Deflect Server. When activating the skill, Kazuki will consume 4 stacks of memory and place a server at the foot of the current target that deploys a shield for all allies. When any team member perfectly dodges or counters, the server will pulse for a small amount of damage. It's important to note that the server lasts for 30 seconds, but shields granted by the server will persist until the shield resistance has been consumed. Kazuki's shield has 30% base damage reduction, and its resistance scales off his HP stat. 8% of his HP for allies, and 25% resistance for himself. Here's an example of damage with the shield and without the shield. As you can see, the shield helps out a lot. His ultimate move is Overclock, which deals damage in a large AoE and supplies Kazuki with 8 stacks of memory to use. If Kazuki goes over his cap of memory with this effect, he will gain the buff Overclock, indicated by the blue flames, which lasts for 20 seconds, increasing his attack stat based on 10% of his HP. Speaking bluntly, the damage on Overclock is not impressive compared to attack-centric characters, so I like to think of the Overclock state as a nice bonus, rather than a goal. And lastly, Kazuki deploys a Deflect server for free when using his Chain skill. This server will overwrite the currently deployed one, but will also refresh all allies' shields, giving this Chain skill great value. As for his potentials, they're not the best. Kazuki's HP scaling, which is actually really good, considering many of his abilities scale off his HP stat, and the added stamina allows him to counter and use his secondary skill often. But his passives aren't amazing. Passive skill 1 grants his Deflect server more damage reduction, in small amounts capping at 15% reduction. Keep in mind, a single shield reduction 4 gives you 10% reduction, so it will come down to what Pachimon you have farmed if you find value in this or not. And with each point in passive skill 2, Kazuki will gain an additional memory when using his ultimate. This may be a good deal if you want Kazuki for an extended fight, but currently there is no content in Tribe 9 that would require Kazuki to ult more than twice. So for now, I do not recommend this potential. Sadly, both of his passive skills are a bit of a swing and a miss, but luckily, because Kazuki scales so well with HP, and HP is an additive stat, we can put the majority of his potential points into HP and offense, enhancing Kazuki's overall effectiveness. Currently, I aim for a 2-4-0-1-0 potential split. It's doing well for me. So other than being an incredibly fast breaker, Kazuki's main appeal are his shields. But how do shields work in Tribe 9? The terms shield resistance and shield reduction might be a bit confusing, so here's exactly what they mean. A shield's resistance is essentially the health of a shield. When a shield is activated in Tribe 9, your HP bar will receive a white border. When this border is gone, your shield is gone. The higher the shield resistance, the longer the shield will last. And we want our shields to last as long as possible in Tribe 9 because shields in this game have a flat damage cut. Kazuki's shields reduce incoming damage by a flat 30%. So if a boss were to smack me with 100 damage, but my shield is up, well, guess what? I only take 70 damage. Now, currently in-game, shields may not seem very necessary, especially when we can kill bosses in a matter of seconds, thanks to the level gap. But I foresee this will not be the case when new, more difficult challenges are added in future updates. As for doing damage when piloting Kazuki, you want to be careful not to spam his secondary, and use it when you believe you can land the full combo. If both halves of the secondary attack do not land, you will lose value and burn through your memory faster than you'd like. Also keep in mind, right after a boss has been broken, there is a recovery phase when the opponent cannot be broken again. So use this time to focus on your primary attack instead. I've been having a lot of success piloting Kazuki at the start of the battle, then swapping to my main DPS after the break, as this is when my best tension cards will activate, and my DPS characters will have the most effectiveness. As for Pachimon stats and set bonuses, it's a no-brainer. Kazuki wants HP, a single ult efficiency, shield reduction and resistance, and crit damage if you can fit it in. The reason for the single ultimate efficiency is really that's about all you need, so you don't lose a level of tension and lose some of your buffs from your cards. Based on my testing and current tension cards, trying to get Kazuki down to only using 1 bar of tension with his ult is not currently viable, so overinvesting in ult efficiency does more harm than good. And when it comes down to shield reduction versus resistance, ideally you want both of these stats because they are synergistic. But if you can only choose one, keep in mind Kazuki's first passive grants reduction, while to get resistance, you need to get his first Transcendence. So resistance is a little more desirable. You can also build Kazuki offensively if you intend to have him built as a breaker, and you don't need his shields. If you go down that road, I'd prioritize attack, crit damage, and then crit rate. However, temper your expectations. Kazuki is not intended to be a DPS carry. His ultimate damage just simply does not stack up to anyone else in the game. Here's a quick comparison between Kazuki, who I've, given offensive Pachimon to, and the free character Yo. I'll save you the math. Yo does 100,000 damage more than Kazuki. He's absolutely intended to be a support character. But then again, if you don't need the shields, sure, stack more attack on him, why not? So cutting right to the chase, when it comes to tension cards, there is no reason to invest in cards specifically for Kazuki. There are some synergies, but based on my testing, they're not the best, and I'd recommend building your deck to enhance other characters, because he's pretty self-sufficient. If you have it, absolutely run Things to Hold On To. This card is busted. It's currently bugged right now, but essentially, the deflect server, once you plop that down, you already get a stack of this. So the crit rate you generate from this, and if you have one, character that's going to deal additional hits, like Suroku or Miyu, you might need to change your Pachimon, because you will have so much extra crit, you will reach 100% crit. I've already done that, so I've had to rework some of my teams. But if you don't have that card, there's not a lot of synergy for Kazuki. The Kingship engine, which his Chibi card and his weapon Phalanx operate on, I'm going to be honest, I don't think the Kingship Minato Tribe engine is there yet. It needs some more cards. On paper, his Chibi card sounds awesome, boosts ultimate damage, and could refund some of his ult. The problem is, getting Kingship stacks on your entire party is not realistic right now, so I would steer away from that. We also have Minato Tribe Bomber, which is a tension card that can supplement your healer role. When your shields go away, you get 25% of your HP back at max rank of this card. It's pretty nice if you plan to use Kazuki a lot, but realistically, if you have the shields, you're probably going to be all right. But other than those two, just let Kazuki do what he's best at, which is support his teammates. And speaking of teammates, who works well with Kazuki? Well, just about everybody, except other shielders and other high breakers. He pairs perfectly with characters that have low survivability, but high damage and low break values, aka Inoki and Miyu. Additionally, if you are running his signature card, characters with the additional hit status will proc that card and stack it up very fast, which is also Miyu. Her turret counts for that type of effect. So let's check out some Kazuki gameplay in action. I'm testing out some cards here, trying to go for the Bombard play to figure out how much damage he can do. Because Kazuki does do so much break damage, you can absolutely control when you get the break. You will just blast through whatever you're fighting. So I thought, all right, let's try like a physical, just high attack build. See how much damage you can get from that overclock. Combine that with Bombard, 100% crit rate characters. Let's check it out. So, taking back Amidon. There's only so many bosses in Tribe 9. We're eventually going to run out of characters to showcase damage on, but it's kind of how it goes. Still in the first patch cycle after all, but not going to use Deflect Server here. Instead, I'm just going to counter, which, his counter doesn't do really much. Just kind of pace myself, use the secondary. Didn't finish the combo. But Johnny, you said... Yeah, I know what I said. Not taking a ton of damage here, but we already see the first break, which I'm going to go ahead and try and get. It's already on AG, and I thought bringing him here might be a good idea. He does pair well with, like, tanks, actually, because they will get the flat damage reduction, but this is our tension-generating team. Both those characters do a great job at that. AG throws a little thing on the ground. You stand in it, get you more crit. But sometimes that is hard to do, as we will see. But now the Deflect Server is up, so a little more safe. Can be a tiny bit more aggressive on Kazuki. Sadly, the allies don't get as much damage reduction. If they did, though, it would be broken. But speaking of broken... Oh, taking a little bit of damage. I'll be honest, I've not fought this guy in a while. We're going to use the second... Oh, no, I'm going to ult right away. Because the bar is flashing, then I can just spam my secondary. And hopefully, if we are fast enough with our fingers, we'll be able to proc that Bombard attack. Oh, he looks so cool when he's on fire. But yeah, we got the card to activate. And that'll boost the damage up a little bit. The sad reality is... Oh, I don't know what I was doing here. I was trying to see if I could, like, dodge it. I've done that once. Could not do it there. You're supposed to parry that move, but... Sad reality is, yes, despite actually successfully pulling off the Bombard card with a 2-star or 2-level tension ability, DPS Kazuki, it's not that good. But his ability to break is absolutely worth pulling for, in my opinion. So should you pull Kazuki? Let's talk pros and cons. Rating him in the current patch of Tribe 9 is very difficult because... And I'm not saying this to sound like I'm a god gamer, like I'm perfect. You just saw the live commentary. I got hit plenty of times. The content in Tribe 9 right now is easy because of the level discrepancy. You just saw me fight the highest level boss in the game. It's level 45. Because of the level difference, we absolutely crush it. We can beat it within a minute. With that being said, though, technically there is a faster breaker. Hyakutaro Senju, the biker guy's brother, he's got the crazy bat. It has been discovered that if you just spam his secondary move and then quickly dash, he outpaces Kazuki by a significant amount, and he's a very accessible character right now. Admittedly, doing that is not fun, but it is possible to get by with Senju. Then you just swap to a different character. With that being said, though, Senju has awful AI. His damage is not going to compare to Kazuki. So if you're looking for a premium version of the unit, he's worth a shot. As Kazuki's AI is just superior based on my playtime, based on, like, also checking out the other betas, I think he's a pretty solid character. Also, that ultimate is very wide. Currently, like, he's the best at killing trash, in my opinion. A full DPS Kazuki build will just shred through the bosses in a rift. It's crazy. And currently in Tribe 9, there is a lot of trash. I know once you level up, you get the insta-kill ability, and you can use that in rifts now. That's awesome, but you start the fights at level 2 tension. Kazuki can just blow them all up. Some characters like Gotanda and Yo, you can also do that, but you got to position weirdly. You might not get all the enemies. You're going to get all the enemies with Kazuki's ult. It's great. With that being said, though, he does have the built-in weakness of his memory stacks. You saw it in my gameplay. There is not always a chance to get both halves of that ability to get the full break value. That's a bummer. I love that Tribe 9 has these downsides for these premium units. Their kits are not perfect. There is no god character. Everybody has cons, everybody has pros. It's wonderful balance. But dude, he is tough to manage with that memory stacks. And it's always in the back of your mind like, I can't go too crazy with this. And that is also another con. Just like Suroku, he is not the easiest character. You might mismanage your memory. You might mess up. It's a lot to manage in a game where you're dodging like crazy and, parrying giant sharks flying at your screen. Also, as we've discussed, his damage is just not the best. He enables other characters. He enables other characters to survive, and that's wonderful. But in the current patch, he's just not that aggressive of a character, and that's, understandable. He's like the second premium unit. In my opinion, if you have the currency, which you probably do, statistically speaking, just pull the character. He's awesome. He's a main character, and I'm sure at some point we will get future kingship support from tension cards. We don't know currently how they're going to handle future tension cards, but realistically, they cannot keep these archetypes the way they are. A lot of characters just don't have the support that they need, right? And personally speaking, for me, I love that my Miyu now has an additional character that completely complements her character, keeps her healthy in case I accidentally get hit. I don't like one-shots. He's great for that. But if you don't have the gems to get his tension card, you don't have Miyu, for example, or Suroku, you could skip him and be fine. That's my final conclusion. Of course, I got him to make the video, but he's not mandatory. And last but not least, let's go over his Transcendences real quick. His first gives 25% more resistance based on his HP stat to his shields. The tooltip in this game does not update. I actually have this Transcendence one. Doesn't update the tooltip. That means your shields get a crazy big boost in resistance. This one is undervalued. You're going to have your shields for probably the entire duration. It's nuts. His third Transcendence, or second, depending on how you look at it, every 20 hits of damage, you gain a memory stack. This is crazy value. Oh my gosh, because keep in mind, his primary attack hits 4 times. That's 5 primaries to get a memory stack. That extends his longevity insanely. However, you have to pull the character a lot of times. And his last Transcendence, when in overclock state, boost break value by 50. This means his secondary, if you hit both halves of it, is 300 plus 300. That's a lot of break value, and in fact, might be overkill. I don't have this Transcendence, can't test it exactly, but yeah, that's a lot of break damage. Future bosses might have higher break values, we have no idea of knowing that, but honestly, I don't think you need his Transcendences to make them work. And that'll conclude our Kazuki Aoyama guide. What did you think? How are you enjoying the character? How are you building him? And any additional questions, I'll answer them in the comments down below. Until next time, make sure to subscribe. More Tribe 9 content coming real soon. Bye.